Ah,
you there?
as they say, aha.
Aha.
Well, how do you like my new office?
That's pretty cool, man. How did you do that?
Well, it's always, I spent a couple days, literally a couple days, cleaning this out and making it usable again. It was just cluttered and unused, and the keeper was offering to help when she got back from a business trip. I said, I'm going to surprise her and have it looking good. So I got my desk.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a small space, but it's nice.
I like it.
Got all the stuff in the background. You can see it, but, some awards. Makes me look a little important. Got some family. I'm
I
a white
see.
guy.
I see you got a dollar bill there framed in stuff.
That's the first dollar I made as a motivational speaker.
Oh wow.
The invitation to the event, which was the secret sauce of success, I presented with a woman named Rita Coco. Oh, look at you.
That's a
Dollar. I know you now you're flashing a C note.
yeah, but that's not a real one. It's like a laminated thing. It's like metal.
Do you remember we both left an event decades ago with $1 million bill?
Who had $1 million bill?
I think that when you and I both left, didn't we? Like they had passed out thousands of them. They were $1 million bill.
I don't know, but so here's the situation right now is you keep cutting out quite a bit more than normal. So maybe for Christmas you should call Santa Claus and say, "Hey, can I get a new camera with a microphone that works or something?"
I don't think it's that. I think it's the. I have no way of knowing.
What do you think it is?
The internet connection at the house.
I don't know. So
Because you're
anyway,
seeing me, you can see me, and I'm happy to invest into a microphone with a little lavalier, make me look fancy.
yeah, whatever it is, it's you're talking, and all of a sudden 4 or 5 words just disappear. They don't. I see your lips moving, but I don't hear nothing.
No, you see my lips moving all right. They probably are. I have a filtering system. It just drops out unimportant stuff. So it does it for me.
Oh no, that's not true. Everything you say is important. So we haven't talked since Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving?
Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah.
So my Thanksgiving was interesting. I had lots of exciting plans. None of it happened because I was passing a kidney stone.
Oh yeah, that's right. How's that going?
This might be education for some of our viewers. People need to be told about health. So for like almost 2 weeks, having this lower left back like tightening and cramping, and I'm like, I feel like I pulled a muscle. I'm like, what am I doing? I was trying to stretch it out, and it really wasn't working. I'm like, and it would go away, and I'd forget about it. A couple of days later, show back up again. But then the length of this cramp would like was getting lengthier. And it woke me up one morning at like 5 in the morning and held on for like a half an hour. And this is like this kind of cramp that just like takes your breath away.
Yeah.
All right. Work one morning. We have these Monday morning meetings with a bunch of people there. And I'm like kind of limping around the conference room, like, oh, this is after 2 weeks. And this friend of mine says, that sounds like a kidney stone. So I called the doctor as I left, and he said, I'll see you Tuesday. This is 2 days before Thanksgiving. So I get in to see him. I in a cup, they check that. Maybe a kidney stone. It's looking like one. And but I'd like to know more if we can discover this. I want to have you go for an abdominal CAT scan, which was set up for Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So on Thanksgiving, at 5 in the morning, and this cramp, and it didn't let go. Oh my God. And by this point, beautiful. And we were going to Connecticut together to her son's side family. And I was going to meet people I'd never met. And I called at 11 o'clock in the morning, like, so the pain has subsided. I'm not imagine getting in a car and driving 2 hours. And people I've never met before and driving 2 hours home. I have no idea what's going to happen. So I sat on the couch by myself all Thanksgiving Day and caught up on some movies. And ironically, And then I didn't have it. Then I had the CAT scan the next day, and they saw the stone. I didn't have a symptom for 11 days, and then this past Sunday night it hit again, and Monday night again, and then nothing since. I don't know what's going on.
So what happens with the stones? Does it just dissolve or does it actually come out? Because if it does, you should put it in a necklace and wear it.
Be nice, wrap it in a little bit.
So when your friend said it sounds like a um, kidney stone,
That was the wrong word. It is presenting like a kidney stone.
I was going to say, how did it sound? I mean, I don't know what that would sound like.
It was kind of a G sharp.
It was like
Sharp.
sharp.
So apparently these only hurt if they're moving from the kidney down through the urethra to be passed. And so they gave me a kind of a Flomax flow of urine to help this pass. And then you get this little strainer cup through the strainer, and nothing yet. So they can pass. They normally, or they can break up into dust on their own. There's not a lot known about these things. There's a lot of ideas that it's linked to dehydration, which is ironic because I've been drinking more water for years of my life than I ever have. Not that I'm drinking enough, but more than ever.
So last year, and then again this year, so this is the second time that for Thanksgiving I shot my own turkey.
Shot your own turkey.
Yeah, but the people at the frozen food section over at Walmart were all upset over it. Can't take a joke. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Shotgun pellets everywhere.
Yeah.
That was my Thanksgiving. How was yours? Who was around?
Mine was good. Nobody's around anymore. I have Terry's brother lives in Brandon, which is about 40 minutes from here, and he's the best cook that I know.
You like him too. You told me about him.
Yeah. So, thing is that we used to do when Terry's parents lived here. They'd do it one year, then we'd do it, and then Virgil would do it. So we'd rotate. But the one year he did it, and the next year he says, "Hey Tony, would you be upset if I did Thanksgiving again?" I says, "If that's what you want to do, I'm not going to deny you that privilege." You know. But he's really, really good cook, and he makes awesome desserts and stuff, and he goes all out. Like,
Wow.
Terry has celiac disease, so she can't have gluten.
Mm.
So he makes extra um, stuffing for her.
It's
And then
gluten free. Gluten free stuffing.
yeah, and then he makes gluten. He makes stuffing with the giblets or
Extra
whatever.
gluten.
With
Extra gluten.
no, but he makes some with the giblets. He knows that I don't care for
Oh.
that, so he makes three things of stuffing. One for with the giblets and the whole deal. Then one for Terry with the gluten free, and then one for me without the giblets. Very nice guy, yeah.
It's above and beyond the Call of Duty right there.
Now, do you when you have turkey Thanksgiving, do you eat the part of the turkey that goes over the fence last?
It's funny. I've never really had a preference of white meat versus dark meat. I just, when it comes to food, people who know me well know that I'll eat anything and love it. I had a friend of mine years ago said, "How was it?" I go, "It was phenomenal." He goes, "Oh yeah, but your opinion means nothing because you like everything."
Yeah, that's good.
There's very little food I don't like.
But you know what part of the turkey goes over the fence last, don't you?
I assume that's
Yeah. And good thing that your camera actually your microphone cut you off, so you wouldn't get to hit the word you said. But I know
good.
that.
So less editing on your part. As long as Jason doesn't call in, you get less editing on your end.
Yeah, if he calls in again, I'm going to mute him. It was a lot of extra work.
Was that? I think with Jason.
Huh?
Is that 17A with Jason?
Oh, 17. Hey, yeah.
I was listening to that one. You did a nice job on the edit.
That
That was good.
was good, yeah. Boom, gone.
I just reached for my phone to make sure it was on vibrate, and then I realized I should take it off vibrate. So when you call, we're going to take it.
Yeah.
Call us. Feel free to call in and ask us and tell us about your Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving feels like a long time ago, being that Christmas is, are you ready? 2 weeks from today.
Wow. That's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. How's your shopping going?
What shopping?
I'm usually not last minute, but we're 2 weeks out. I would normally be starting kind of around now. And what surprised me was that I'm not done with shopping, but I was done with my shopping for the Keepa on November 30th. I shocked myself, and it all came together like everything. And I got some exciting things going on, which I can't talk about because, she might watch this
She might watch this, yeah. So
before December 25th.
with Terry, I always ask her like the day before. So what do you want for Christmas anyway? And she'll tell me what she wants. I say, oh man, they already ran out of that. I should have asked you earlier. Wow, very cool.
I do have some exciting to tell you about it, but uh, you know, right?
Yeah. So
I'll tell you eventually.
yeah, I think last time we talked, you said I should bring up the thing about me playing the guitar at the prison ministry.
Oh, yes.
So I was going to a church over there in Fitchburg, Mass.
First, tell me how this, because yeah, I remember hearing briefly like you went into these prisons and spoke to people, and so I would like to know like what's the backstory? Was this like activity, or how did you end up with this opportunity?
So this one guy, I was at the church I was going to in Fitchburg. This guy said to me, "Hey Tony, you play guitar,
Maybe
right?"
the Twin City Baptist Temple.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, you have a good memory. So he says, "Yeah, I heard that you play guitar." I says, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, listen, we have a prison ministry. We go
Okay.
there on Thursday nights. We go there." He says, "And I play guitar there. But this week coming up, I'm going to be on vacation. Any chance you can cover for me?" I said, "Well, I don't know those songs." He says, "Well, it's three songs, three chord songs. I can get together with you for 15 minutes and show them big deal." So I did that, and I learned the three songs was real easy. I got there,
Full band or just one acoustic
one
guitar?
acoustic guitar. So I was there playing acoustic guitar, and the guys was, the prisoners were all singing along and stuff for those three songs.
Okay,
So it was
nice.
really cool. Then the preacher went up there and did his thing.
Is the preacher from your church, or was he just an outside guy coming, or is he the like the prison chaplain?
He wasn't our regular pastor, but I think he was from our church. But anyway, he did a
Okay,
nice. He
so this is
preached.
your into the prison. Got
Yeah, so he preached. It was really good. And then afterwards, he asked the people from the prison ministry, from the church, to go up and give the testimony.
it.
So people
Oh,
went up to give the testimony, and then he says, "How about you, Tony? Come on up." I says, "Oh no, no, I'm just here to play the guitar." Because I know the testimony is supposed to say, something like, "I was really, really down. My life was ruined, and then somehow I accepted the Lord, and everything changed, and now everything's great." But I didn't have that story to tell, if you know what I mean. And I
yes.
didn't really go up there, so I'm trying to say no. He says, "Hey, these guys want to hear your testimony. Come on up." So the prisoner are going, "Tony, Tony, Tony," that kind of stuff. So I said, "Oh shoot." So now I got to go, right? So I get up there and I'm saying, "What am I going to do?" He says, I walk up to the podium. I said, "Listen, the only difference between you guys and me is that you got caught and I didn't." But you know what happened? They all laughed because
Well, yeah, it's real, and you related to that.
yeah. So then afterwards, a lot of them came up to talk to me, and I told them a few jokes. You know how I am, and we just communicated. They seemed like all nice people. I wasn't intimidated at all by anybody. So the following week, the guy that normally plays the guitar went on Thursday. And on Friday morning, he called me up and said, "Hey, Tony, I was up at the prison ministry yesterday, and I was playing the guitar, and everybody was asking for you. What's going on?" I says, "Well," he says, "What did you do?" I says, "All I did was relate to them." He says, "How did you relate to them?" I says, "I told him that story about how I went up to give my testimony. That's what I said. The only difference between you and me is that you got caught and I didn't." He said, "Wow, that was pretty cool. How'd you come up with that?" I says, "I don't know. I just didn't have a story to tell, so I just told, threw a joke in there."
How'd you come up with that? How do you think I came up with it?
Yeah.
It's funny to say that your original, because I have a friend of mine who's a pastor, and we've talked around this, and he's often said, like, testimony or something who's like, I was down on my luck and I accepted the Lord and now everything's perfect. It's such a horrible expectation for anybody to have. And I love what you just went real and you made them feel like we're all the same.
Yeah.
We're all in this together.
I think we talked about this. The band, the Lark and Paul, the two sisters.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see
Yeah.
the video of Preacher Blues?
You know what? I had one of their albums in my system, and then you told me about that song, and I loved it, and I shared it with a few. I don't think I know the video.
So there's some videos where they're playing live on stage, but there's also one that's really, really good with just the two of them
Checking my music now.
at the studio in New York. It's just like looks like a library or something, and it's just the two of them playing. It's so freaking good, man.
So I have an album of theirs from 2020 called "Self-Made Man."
Oh yeah, yeah.
These guys are really good, Larkin Poe. What's the name of that song? Blues.
Preacher blues.
That's actually not on this album, but I went to find that because you told me about it. They're very good. I don't know how I heard about them.
I don't know. I saw them because first video I saw them, they were with on a cruise ship playing on stage with Joe Bonamassa and Paul Schaefer.
Wow.
So they came out and did a song with Joe Bonamassa, and I says, "Oh, these girls are really good. I got to find out more about them." So I looked them up, and I watched that video at something studio in New York. It looks like a library, like that. There's just two in a room with all stuff behind, like books and
Hmm.
cassettes of videos or something. It's just, but they just killed it. It's amazing. I was like, wow.
So in my particular music, digital music on my phone, you can scroll down to see more by them. And I we're just talking about the church thing because here's a music video by them in 2020 called "God Moves on the Water."
Huh.
Okay. I don't know that. I'll have to get into these guys some more.
So Larkin Poe is the name of their grandfather.
I was going to ask how they. I got a little right up here. Southern roots rockers Larkin Poe were formed around core members. Okay, a bit edgier and rockier than their original band. Slide guitar riffs quickly earned them comparisons to the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, they're very good.
So there's our musical represent. There's our musical suggestion to our audience.
There's one song that they have called "Mad as a Hatter." I
Hmm.
guess their grandfather had what's the word?
Mad cow disease.
No, when people go crazy and they're
Mad cow disease.
no, it's not what it was. I can't think of the word, but
Go crazy.
like dementia and stuff. I don't know. Something's going on.
Oh,
Anyway, they have a song about that that's really good too.
huh.
That's
You know,
cool.
it's funny. I love finding new music. I guess I'll use the word finding. And when I'm listening to music in my system, which is iTunes, when an album finishes, it just kind of will play something else that they think is from that genre. And it's not stuff I have in my library. So I'm just
All
like,
right.
what is this? And I heard this great song I'm going to share with you, and I dare you not to like it.
You dare me not to like it?
Well, because I heard it, I'm like, oh my gosh, so I went to keep it, and it's by a guy named Joseph Williams, and I'll show you just this picture of him. Looks a little like Sammy Hagar, doesn't he, with the hat?
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
it's called "Never Saw You Coming," and it's a cool tune.
Never saw you coming.
"Never Saw You Coming" by Joseph Williams. So then I did a little bit more research on this guy. I'm like, who is this person? And he plays with a couple of other guys, and there's three names in the band. Its genre is considered soft rock. And I downloaded the album. The album was not at all like this one song, so I deleted the album. But this one song is amazing.
Wow.
So check that out.
I'll check that out.
I also found some new music this week. Other ways. One of them was so there's this drummer who I idolize. He's one of my, I guess I call him a mentor. But Mike Portnoy was the Dream Theater drummer for decades.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A lot of side projects from that, and I just I can hardly say I'm influenced by him. I just love his stuff because I'm nowhere near what he is, but he's amazing. So he also is a fan of all sorts of music, and I follow him on Instagram. And he made a reference to this band, saying, "Oh, these guys are great, and they're somewhat in the progressive genre." Anyway, about one of my favorite albums of 2021. I'd never heard of them. Of course, I downloaded the album and listened to that, and that was a fun way to learn about something.
But you know something? You're actually closer to him than you think you are because he sits on a stool
Just like I do.
just like you do with the drums around him, and he hits the drums. That's what you do. So you're as good as
It's
you are.
true. We have an awful lot in common, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, and his name is Michael, and yours is Michael.
except he's a Mike and I'm a Michael.
Oh,
That's a hissy fit reference.
oh, talking about the hissy fit. You're not gonna believe what happened. I called him. I called him and left him a message and said, "Hey, listen, don't you think it's about time that we get together for a coffee?" He called me back. He was so excited that I called.
Oh,
We got together. We went to grab a bite to eat, and
nice.
he was acting like nothing ever happened.
Okay, that might be if you're
So
embarrassed, that could be one way to do it, I guess.
I said to him, "So I can see that you don't want to talk about what happened." He says, "Well, no, not really." I says, "I'm just so happy that you called me and that we reconnected because you're a good guy and I really like you." I says, "Well, the only thing I'm going to say then is what happened to you was you had a cognitive dissonance hissy fit." So he smiled, and that was all. That was it. He didn't want to talk about it. So I said, "Okay, fine."
So that means we have one more viewer in our.
But he did ask me. He says, "So are those videos still on YouTube that we did with the podcast?" I said, "Well, two of them. I left two of them up there." But he says, "So what are you still going to do them?" I says, "Well, if you go up and look up No Hissy Fit Zone on YouTube, you'll find that we have 17 episodes that we've done."
Nice.
So he says, "Oh my goodness, great." He says, "I'm glad you're doing it because you know,
Because you got a lot of talent, kid.
yeah, you look pretty good over there, you know." So you remember I told you about the pizza thing with my neighbor where he had pizza delivery and I
Yeah, and
intercepted it.
you were kind enough to pay for it.
It took two slices, all that stuff. So I talked to him the other day and I says, "Hey, well, I was talking about you on the podcast and we talked about the pizza thing." He goes, "Yeah, yeah, I don't do pizza delivery anymore."
Is he still your neighbor? Did he move out? Did he move out?
No, he's still the one that had that ordered the pizza that I took two slices from. Still
Yeah,
lives there.
he's still there. That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
The one that I was eating the pizza with is no longer there because his house caught on fire and that is that to be turned down, and then somebody else built another one, so he's gone. He's up in Ohio. But I talked to him this week too. It was interesting.
Nice. So here's a
Wow.
crazy story this week. In my house here in Worcester, I got two different utility companies, one for electricity and one for gas. And gas is how I heat the house. So there's a gas line into the basement, and there's a big meter, a big box hanging off the wall in the basement, which is where the band is now. And I've heard for a couple of years that like Eversource is the utility company is going to be moving those meters outside the house because they want to be able to check them and not have to get into a house to do it, which makes a lot of sense. I guess they're scheduling these things over years and who knows. But for a long time now, from my house to the street, because I live behind a house, it's probably 100 feet. And out at the sidewalk at the street, you could smell natural gas on the sidewalk. Like there's a leak somewhere. I've called the company a couple of times over a couple of years around this. And they've dug and they looked and they do it all over and leave. And months later, we're smelling gas again. Ironically, natural gas has no smell. They actually add a scent into it. So you're smelling gas as a safety.
Oh, really?
So I get home on Joey's in town this week for one night. And so I saw him Tuesday night and I got home about 10:30. I'm driving down my street and there's utility trucks and flashing lights everywhere and cones out and they got a bulldozer digging and there's a lot of stuff going on. They must be doing something with that smell. I pull into my house, I'm kind of getting ready to shut it down for the night, taking a shower, getting ready to go to bed. And so now in bed, it's close to midnight, and I'm looking out because right from the front of my bed, I can see out a window, which looks right down towards the side yard, front yard, out to the street, flashing lights everywhere. And I have an automatic light. Someone walks by, it's a motion detector light goes off. So that's going on and off because one of these guys is walking all the way up and down my side yard. And I just figure they're not going to need me for it. This is all outside stuff. And so I shut it all off and I'm going to sleep and I'm almost asleep. And I hear this. These guys are knocking on my door. It's about 12:15, and they are knocking on the door like they're trying to shake someone out of bed, which is exactly what they're trying to do. So I was like, get all dressed. I run downstairs, and so they shut the gas off because there was a leak in the street.
Wow.
This is a cold night, so now I got no heat. The house is warm, but it's going to go the wrong direction. It's out of my control because I shut the heat off, the gas off at 10 or 11 o'clock. Now it's after midnight. And so I'm out in the side yard with like 7 people from the utility company, and everyone's got the hard hats they're trying to figure out. So they got to fix the leak, but now they're going to take the re-pipe my house and move the meter outside. So instead of being scheduled, now I was going to do it because they had to fix the repair anyway. So we're looking at different spots. It's cold. I'm in the side yard with these people. It's 12:30, quarter one. And so they decide, okay, we're going to do it over here. Got this crawl space. Now we're down in the basement and looking around. And we use the crawl space, but the pipe fitter's not going to like it. And the guy with the hard hat's like, I don't care what the pipe fitter wants. That's where it's going. We're going to shut it down tonight. We'll be back tomorrow morning. I finally crawled back into bed about 1:15. Because I had a couple of blankets on the bed, but I woke up the next morning and it was 52 degrees in the house. And I know they're coming, hot water heater, so I had enough hot water for a shower. I had to microwave some water for a coffee, and these guys show up about 8:30, quarter of 9, and I was getting ready to leave for the day. I got until late. I was going away Western Mass that day. It's a different crew of guys saying we can't do the crawl space, it's impossible, and they're trying to figure out where to put it on the side of the house, and they want to, I said, well, I'm putting a porch on the house because we talked about the porch coming off the house. The porch hasn't gotten back on here, so the guy's like, I can put it right here, 6 feet off the house. The porch is going to come to here. We'll put the meter right here. Gray box is metal thing is just going to hang there in the middle of the air off my porch. He goes, yeah. I go, that's hideous. Like, that's not going to work. And so somebody said, let's go to the other side of the house. For some reason, trying to make less work for them, which is not. So what they ended up doing was, well, they were quick too. I got to be honest. I was like, when I get home tonight, I'm going to have heat. And they go, you're either going to have heat or we're still going to be here working. Okay. The bulldozer coming off a flatbed up my driveway and in my side yard. And they started digging up the side yard. You've been there from the street all the way back to my house. They dug a big trench, 2.5, 3 feet deep. Then they had a cutter. They had to cut the asphalt driveway. And they put a meter on the driveway side of the house. And by the time I got home that night at 9:30, it was done, and the hole was filled back in. It's a bit of a mess. New asphalt in the driveway. I walked in the house. It's 70 degrees. I'm like, okay, but crazy couple days.
Wow. So when you went like this, you said 2.5 feet. I actually checked it with this meter. You were off on your 2.5 feet. You were a little bit off.
It was more like 28 inches.
Yeah. There you go. Now I got it.
Well, I got to be back here to do that. So here's the bottom.
That's it. Let me just check. Yeah, that's it.
That's about 2.5.
Yeah.
That's a take.
It's a take. Wow.
Oh,
So,
I'm thankful for heat.
I've been a realtor in Florida here for 18 years. I did it for 15 years, and I took some time off, and now I'm back into it. But anyway, it's very rare. I've sold over 300. I think I sold 327 houses.
Wow.
And I don't think there was a single one that was that had gas.
What's the big utility there? How do you heat?
Well, electric heat. We have the air conditioner with an air handler, and that's where the heat comes from. But
So electric heat.
there's very few communities that even have gas. Sometimes, like when there's a new community, they put gas in there, but it's very rare. So, I've always cooked with
I
electric.
guess it's all regional, how we do different things.
When it comes to cooking, I don't know if you can tell on this video, but I've never missed a meal.
Huh.
Even though we don't have gas, I can still eat. Aha. Aha.
Aha.
So remember what I told you about my friend, the new friend that played in the Super Bowl III with Joe Namath and the Jets?
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't remember his name. His name is Earl Christie. So he wasn't a running back. I think he was a cornerback or something. I don't know, but he was just one of the nicest people I've ever met. Awesome.
How'd you meet?
Well, I have a friend that has a booth at the flea market here in Oldsmar, and he sells guitars and amplifiers, and he's also a real good artist, so he has his own art that he sells. And across from him, there was a guy that was signing a book, like autographs on a book. It was his book. And he had a banner that he was, with the Super Bowl III and the stuff with his picture on there. So he says, hey, you got to go over there and meet Earl. He's a great guy. So I went over to meet Earl and told him a couple of quick jokes, and he really liked them. And then he put I told you this before. He put the Super Bowl ring on my finger, and then he had his arm around me, and my friend took a picture with us.
Love it.
And I was talking to the guy, and he's just so cool. I says to him, "Hey, so what do you do now?" He says, "Well, I'm a motivational speaker." And I told him a story about how I used to be a professional speaker. You remember that story? Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, 2 weeks later, someone went to see my friend again. He goes, "Hey, here's my buddy Tony. How you doing?" I says, "Listen, Earl, I can't talk to you anymore." He says, "What's the matter?" I says, "Well, you took a picture of me with your arm around me, and you put the ring, the Super Bowl ring, on my finger. So now my wife thinks that you and I are engaged, and she's upset about it." He said, "Well, I don't want to mess up your marriage, but if you become available, give me a call." Then he's laughed. He's just such a funny guy, man. And so he wrote a book, and he sells the books and stuff. But every single dollar proceeds from the book go to his foundation. Yes, which is a really cool thing.
What's the book called?
Ooh,
You know it?
I don't. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let me do this. What's his? I'm going to search.
Earl Christie.
Earl Christie. Let's see what I can come up with. Let's see if I beat you to it.
Oh,
Christie or Ty?
I think it's Ty.
Let's see. Whoops, that's not right.
So you actually use the Google machine to find stuff, huh?
The Google machine. Krusty, not Krusty, Christie.
Christie, yeah.
That's my fat fingers. Well, let's see. I got nothing under that name. Let's see. Let's see here. Earl Christie. You sure this guy exists?
Yeah. I have a picture of him with his arm around me with his ring on my finger, so I know he exists.
Earl, Earl, Christie, Christ.
Why?
Why? Why, I ask you, why?
Why, Earl? Why?
I got nothing. That's all.
Nothing?
Nothing. Go over here.
Well, I know he exists. I've talked to him several times. So when I told my story about the first time I spoke in public, how I had rehearsed my speech, how I was going to say it, my voice inflection, the whole deal, my delivery. And as soon as I started talking, 2 or 3 people got out and walked out, and a few more got out and walked out, and a few more. And next thing I know, there's only one guy left in the audience. But I knew this: as long as if you have any audience at all, you have to keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. After a while, I said to him, "Sir, I'm sure you realize that everybody else is gone. You're the only one here. Why are you still here?" He says, "Because I'm the next speaker." So when I told Earl that, he said to me, "Tony, I would be glad to sit down with you and pay you for you to teach me some of these jokes that you tell, like stories, not really jokes, but stories with a punchline. Because I don't know how to do those things, and I'd like to learn a few of those to do when I'm doing, public speaking. I want to be able to have something like that to, break the monotony and make people smile a little bit."
Although the key is you kind of have to be yourself, and you can't force something that's not you. Humor is a dangerous thing to a speaker. Because if it flops, and
Yeah, it's true.
I don't tell jokes. You do it really well, but I use a lot of humor anecdotes in what I'm talking about.
Right.
Keep an audience engaged and lighten up and have them have some fun. But if it misses the mark, disastrous.
So I know hundreds of jokes. I don't remember them all, but if somebody says something, it triggers a joke in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I like to do the most is to tell stories. They have an unexpected punchline at the end.
Yeah.
So I'm telling a regular story, and then at the end, there's a twist, and it's just people get amazed by that because that's not what they're expecting.
Yeah.
They didn't know I was telling a joke. They thought I was just telling a story, and I throw in that little thing at the end. It's like pretty cool. Like last week when the police came to my house, and they're banging the door like crazy. Someone says, "Hey, what's going on?" I says, "Well, we have a report that your dog was chasing a kid on a bike." I said, "That's bullshit because my dog doesn't even have a bike." Boom. See what I mean?
There you go. See what I mean? See what I mean?
So I want to tell you a story about Rufus Alejandro.
Rufus.
Last year for Thanksgiving, Terry's brother and his wife had both signed up for Facebook, like a week before Thanksgiving.
Last year?
Yeah, so they're trying to fit. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I forget. But anyway, They're trying to figure out which one could get more people, more likes, more friends on Facebook before Thanksgiving. So when I heard that story, I says, "Oh, I got to do something." So I went out online and I found a picture of a dog, real nice dog, and I tried to create a Facebook with a dog to show them that I could get more friends than they could. But you
And
can't just do that because,
what was the dog's name?
well, here's the deal: you can't do it unless you have a name. So I had to come up with a name,
Right.
and then you need an email. So I called the dog Rufus Alejandro, and I went to Gmail and I put rufusalejandro@gmail.com, and I created a
Gee,
profile for the dog, Rufus
yep.
Alejandro. So naturally,
Ah,
I started looking for people that had dogs on Facebook and inviting them to be friends with Rufus, right? So then my brother-in-law and his wife, the ones that were having a competition, I requested friendship from them, so they both became my friends. And then at Thanksgiving, I'm sorry, I said, "Hey, who is this guy Rufus Alejandro that all you guys know?" And he says, "I don't know who that is." He says, "Well, you're friends with him on Facebook, and so are you." So my other brother-in-law, Terry's other brother, was laughing because he was here when I did that. I says, "Don't laugh. Your sons are also friends with Rufus Alejandro, and your daughters." So he says, "What?" I says, "Yeah, everybody's friends with this. Who is it?" So my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law had no idea who it was. I said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, you're friends with him." He says, "Well, I don't know." I said, "Well, I'll tell you who it is. It's something that I made up." And I told him the story how I made up the Rufus Alejandro, and then I started asking friends. I said, "And I know you guys each had a goal to see which one could get 100 easier or faster. And I started later than you guys did with Rufus Alejandro. He has 250 friends already. You guys don't even have 100. So what does that say about you?"
I just did a search for Rufus Alejandro. There's three of them.
No, there isn't. Is
Yes, there
there?
are.
Come on. Is one of them a picture of a dog? No, it's not there anymore. It
Um,
is.
well, there is no, this is a family, and there's another guy. He has 36 followers. And there's one from Arlington, Texas.
Wow.
He should probably be our next guest on the podcast, don't you think?
That's funny, isn't it? So,
Birthday. Thanking his friends for the birthday wishes. And there's a third one, which is very conspicuously blank with no pictures. That might be yours. That's so funny.
so I was talking to some people.
Alejandro is just something you came up with. You made up a name and said, let's do Rufus Alejandro.
The dog looked like a Rufus, and I needed a last name, so I said Rufus Alejandro. I just came up with that name. But you know how I told you that sometimes in Florida, the easiest way to meet people and to get a conversation going is to ask them, "Hey, where are you from?" Right? So I do
Because
that.
no one's from Florida.
Well, a lot of people, most people aren't. So it's a way to start a communication. And, they says, "Oh, I'm Ohio." Says, "Oh, I have a good friend from Medina, Ohio. You know Medina?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah." So then you can start talking. Then next thing you know, you build a little relationship. So one of the guys asked me, "So where are you from?" So I said, "Well, I'm from the Azores," and I told him I was, the Portuguese islands, and the island that I'm from is actually surrounded by water. The whole thing. So
Santa
anyway,
Maria.
he said, "So where'd you live?" I said, "I lived in Massachusetts. Then I lived in Phoenix for 3 years. 3 years." He says, "Phoenix? Whoa! I always wanted to go out there. I always wanted to go to the Grand Canyon." I says, "I got to tell you something about the first time I went to Grand Canyon. This is a true story. Friends of mine had Jeeps, so we used to go four wheeling. So we decided to go four wheeling. Well, they decided to go four wheeling, and then they went up to Flagstaff, and then they went north and said, we're so close to the Grand Canyon, we should go see it." So they went to Grand Canyon, but by the time we got there, it was already getting dark. So here's a story that's amazing to me. I still get shivers when I talk about this. Um, you're not driving it up a mountain. You're actually on flat land. And when you get to the Grand Canyon, it's 6 feet, 6 feet, like a hole that's 6 feet deep. But we got there, it was already dark, and it was like just a dark void. We couldn't see it. So we
Wow.
decided to take a nap in the Jeep and wait. You know, so
Wow.
so then in the morning when we were woken, it was because there was three buses that pulled up. With the air brake, right?
Yeah.
And then the sun was starting to come up, and for better terms, I don't know for sure, but that it was all the like Japanese tourists, three buses full of, and they all had tripods and cameras. And when the sun was coming up, I could hear those cameras go, it was amazing,
Yep.
right? But then as the sun came up and that void, the dark void opened up, and you could see the Grand Canyon. It's like a drop for 6,000 feet. It was totally amazing. But here's what the thing that blew my mind with that is after the sun was up and they stopped taking the pictures, three 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 bus three bus loads of people gave the sunrise a standing ovation, and they were
Really?
cheering the sun and stuff, and it blew me away. It was such a beautiful thing to see because
Oh, that's
number one,
cool.
what I was looking at was beautiful to see, the Grand
Right.
Canyon. But the fact that they liked it so much that they were giving it a standing ovation, I was like, wow. I mean, when I say standing ovation, they were standing anyway, but they were clapping for it. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was just so
I
cool.
like that.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's funny. I remember it reminded me of a time I was on an airplane flight, big commercial. I forget even where we were going. And when we touched down and landed, everybody applauded the pilot for landing the plane.
Yeah, of
And just
course.
because when you're not expecting it is refreshing, no matter what the situation.
I had that happen one time when the flight was actually kind of a lot of turbulence. So when we landed, everybody cheered too, but it wasn't because we're happy with the pilot, it was just because we made it.
Maybe I should start doing that. Just cheering every time I land a plane.
So I watched another video yesterday about how they have these videos where they what do they call it? They make comments on the video. Somebody's making comments on a video and they put it on YouTube.
Yeah, so like a review, or not a review, a reaction. Reaction.
Reaction, yeah. So this guy was doing one of those reactions on a band that I know what it was. It was One Way Out by the Allman Brothers, and he was telling because he says because on the lyrics the guy says, Lord, I can't go out there, whatever. He says, now in the South when they say Lord, they don't say Lord, they say Lawd, Lord.
Lord,
Because
good Lord.
he says that has a different meaning. So it was pretty cool to watch the guy. He was so into the music. He had never heard the Allman Brothers before, but he was so into it. Somebody says, "Hey, you want to do a comment on this thing?" And so he's watching them at the live show. I forget where it was now, but anyway, so cool to watch. And he had tons of views. So maybe I should do a video of me commenting on our podcast.
I think Earl Christie should do a review of this podcast.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah.
Whatever.
Now the other thing I want to do is that I want to talk to you about this Zig Ziglar thing that you're trying to do, the presentation where you can have Zig doing.
You remember that?
You're talking about that, but then you're playing videos of him saying what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be good.
Yeah, I gotta. I spend because I have now matrices for my speaking business, so I'm spending about an hour a week, and I can focus down and hone in a little bit because I haven't done much there yet, except for just it's in here. I haven't started to formulate it yet, but I think it'd be kind of cool. And I'm not too concerned about licensing and using, because quite frankly, the best thing can happen to me is be sued by the Zig Ziglar Corporation.
Well, not only that, I think if I look at those things that do those videos that I was just talking about, I'm sure they didn't get permission to do that.
Right. True.
And
so are you a fan of the band Tool?
a little bit. I mean, I don't know all that stuff, but what I've heard, I liked.
I think I'm like you. Like I got a lot of it in my iTunes that I haven't listened, but the two guys I play with, especially Barry, who huge fans. I'm like, wow, that's so interesting, because nobody sounds like that. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But they have a new album out last year, which was insanely good. There's a song on it called Pneuma, Pneuma. And there was one particular reaction video. These two guys, it's very effective. They got guys, and they got a nice backdrop of like a city lights. So there's a reaction video to the song, and it was so good. This one guy couldn't. He actually just had to like get up and walk away. It's so fun to watch it, but great music. So I would check that one out too. You got a lot of music to listen to. You got Joseph Williams.
Yeah.
I need to text you that. You already write it down.
I already wrote down.
All right, good.
Never saw you coming. Never saw you coming. So talk about now. You said that Tool. Nobody sounds like Tool. I play in a cover band. See the thing over there, Oyster Bone.
Yeah.
So people know the songs that we play because we play covers and stuff. But people say, "Man, you guys don't sound anything like the band that did that song originally." I don't know if it's a compliment or not.
I don't think that's a compliment.
So today we did the thing a little early because I told you I need to get out of the house because Terry's doing a class.
You got a hard stop. You got to get moving.
I got a hard stop. Yeah, I'm gonna go. But this was
fun. I'm going Christmas shopping with my friend David today. I got to go meet him. Christmas shop. We're actually going out to the Treehouse Brewing Company, which is one of the larger microbreweries in the area.
Yeah, but don't spend too much on my gift. It's not it's not a big deal.
I understand. I do.
I know you do.
My gift to you is a lavalier microphone for me to use on my end.
Now, when you watch this one, when this plays back and you watch it, you'll see what I mean. You're cutting off a lot today.
And it's funny because on my end, you cut off a little bit on me on your audio. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up in the final product.
But then when we put the video up, you'll see that I never cut out,
We'll see.
but you do.
Oh, we'll see. Sounds like a competition. To our viewers and listeners, it's only going to get better. Thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, what he said.
All right, Mike. You're the best, buddy.
Have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Take
And by the
care.
way,
Yo,
I did make sure that it was recording today, so we recorded it.
outstanding and terrific.
Yeah, that's my job from now on.
I'll see you,
Otherwise,
pal.
if we don't record, this is what happens. All right, man.
Talk to you soon.
All right, man. See you.
Yeah.
Bye.